abortion, there is um, an issue when you have a person that may be carrying a fetus that is not viable or something to that degree also in there. And in certain states, a woman has to hold that until her health becomes a detriment, even though the fetus may not be viable. If it is deceased, they cannot get an abortion in certain states, and they cannot do anything because they have to actually wait until they become in a medical situation, and they can lose their life because of it. So that's also a part of it, not just someone that's having a child and may have gotten pregnant and do not want the child. Another one is Project 2025. There's real things there that we have to be mindful of. There's also the police immunity that he would like to provide. There's also the presidential immunity that is there for someone that is showing signs of every bit of instability mentally. We have to be very concerned about not only the issues, but we have to be realistic and look at him as a person and what he's putting out of his mouth, as mentioned earlier, as far as dictatorship. And then with that, I'll yield.
Okay, and thank you. I had noticed that also, I want to make sure that persons that really do want to say something, don't be afraid to say what you would like to say on this platform. Again, it is a safe space. We're talking about the political climate, but I know that we have ladies on the line as well that would at one point they would like to jump in, but just listened in. So feel free to also be able to jump in. I know this is real men talk, but we have ladies and men on this call. So please join in. Feel free to do that. We're all voters, right? So
we do have a new hand, and it is a lady. I believe, can we yield to her and let her speak for a moment? All right, go ahead, Marlena.
Good evening, everyone. I just want to share as it relates to the abortion because I am a woman and it sounds like men are speaking for the women because it is our bodies and it is our choice. Although I do not believe in abortion, I definitely think it's wrong, and I know what the word of the Lord says as it relates to that. But also, a woman has a choice. Um, Unless you've been a woman, which majority of you have not, and you will never be, um, you don't understand the things that we have to go through. It could be rape. It could be, once again, as it relates to a medical procedure. And if you're saying that I cannot do what I need to do with my body, my choice, my right, I'm the only one got to stand in the presence of the Lord and give an account for whatever that I do in this body. So I don't think that the government should be um, delineating what I can do with my life, with my body, or telling me what I can do with my life at the end of the day. I know as we go back in a slavery time, women, we were viewed as property, second class citizen. And so it's like, when do we get a chance to voice our opinion? This is our right. This is our body. And we should have a say so, not the government, and what we want to do with it.
Thank you so much. We appreciate your input. And with that, we'll go with Robert.
All right. Yeah, the statements that were just made by the Queen, and then you're right. If men are stepping up to their responsibilities, ideally that eliminates some of these things that happen. But a man has no, this is my ology, no right to tell a woman what to do with her body. Now, we know that the mortality rate amongst Black women in this country are high when it comes to just pregnancies alone. And then if it's a threatened pregnancy, meaning a health scare type of pregnancy, if the child is conceived rape, incest, that's a lot to put on the shoulders of that individual, and that's her choice to carry through with that pregnancy. A man, there's not a law on the books that tells a man to go get a vasectomy. There's not a law on the books that tell a man that he needs to wear a condom, but we want to tell a woman what to do with her body. Now, I get the, and they talk about caring and anti-abortion, whatever, however you want to label it. The same folks who are against the abortion, and true enough, I'm pro-choice for the woman. Let me say that. When it comes to abortion, you got the folks who are anti-abortion, but they don't speak against the lives that are being lost for those who are walking this earth right now. The mass shootings and the day-to-day murders. You're not trying to correct those deficiencies, but you want to prevent a woman whose pregnancy may be detrimental to her health.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Can we yield to Lena? We have another young lady that would like to speak, and then we will go to Ray.
Yes, hello and thank you.
For my name.
I also want to speak on the abortion issue. You know, me being a married woman, have been married like 24 going on 25 years. In regards to abortion, there was a time in my life where the medical decision came to me. It's either your life or the baby's life. No, it was either my life or both of your lives. Because at that time I had a tubal pregnancy. I wanted my baby, but to go through with that, it would have been the baby and myself. Now, for that law to be put in place, for me not to even be given that opportunity, I wouldn't be here today.
Thank you so much.
And I want to comment on really quick, and thank you so much, Lena, for that, because I love looking at facts, and I definitely love research. But in a press release that was distributed by the Kamala Harris office, there was when the White House gave a blueprint for addressing the maternal health crisis. And there's been 2 years of progress that came out around July 10th in 2024. And that can be looked up, but I can also put in, if anyone wants in the chat, where to find it. But what I found interesting that they saw was that there was a lot more of deaths amongst African-American women through birthing. And so it's a higher rate. And again, just the experience of, as Lena gave, the urgency, and not so much, again, guys, to go into it, but it's important to have funding for that. Funding for more research and to contribute to the efforts to assist Black women. But again, there's across the globe, women in the United States that has had these concerns. So we do want leadership that can adhere to those concerns and really look at it as it is in demand, it is necessary, as well as other health disparities as well. But that's the closest that a person can get to death. It is a woman in childbirth. So it's important to give funding towards that. And so that is just a spiel I wanted to give. And definitely, again, please look at the facts. Please look at what's out there, because there's a lot of information that you can discover when you really do the research in there.
Thank you, Dr. Ray.
Yeah, I appreciate everybody's, opinions and thoughts and facts that they are presenting. I love having this forum. one of the things that I love to leave people with is something that was always imparted into me, was about voting, is that even deciding not to vote is still a vote. And just remembering that if I don't vote, I'm still casting a vote for whoever to win, whoever is going to win. If I could have stopped that with my vote in another direction. So I wanted to give you guys that. But also, too, the other thing that I was going to state was that just looking at the policies and just kind of moving away into a different direction, looking just at the policies, um, there was nothing that Trump indicated in his plans or policies that actually aligned to me as a young Black man. Up under for Kamala, there were, she just talked about things that were really dear to me. One thing is such as being a young man who also cares for his mother, his older mother. Up under Kamala, she is for making sure Medicare includes care for the elderly. That wasn't available up under, Trump's plan. And if I had to take care of my mom on my own, out of my own income, I would go bankrupt, because caring for an older person, an elderly family member, is something that is very expensive. Capping insulin prices at like $35 so that people who actually need insulin, and a lot of people who, we know diabetes is huge in the African American community, but people aren't having to continue to, try to not take their medication this day so that they can make it last throughout the end of the week. They can actually, really afford it. As a young Black business owner, up under Kamala Harris, there was there is the plan to cut taxes for new startup businesses so that you aren't paying so much, which though that's one of the things that causes a lot of businesses to go under, is because they're paying so much in taxes as a startup business that they go under. Up under Trump, there was nothing like that. There was no tax cuts for, young business owners. So things like that is what drew me into Kamala Harris, giving more credits to, young business owners, young people. So those things are the things that drew me into her and away from Trump, because Trump, when I was going through his plan, all of his plans were more so getting dedicated to people who were very well off, dedicated to people who were already set. Me as a young person, one of the first men in my family to go to college, I don't have all of those trust funds and things of that nature. So I needed someone who was for me, who was thinking of people like me to put those plans into place. And that's why I went in the direction that I went into.
You're on mute, Doc.
I'm sorry. I apologize. Thank you, Raynard, for that. And I knew this was going to be a very dynamic subject area to go over and discuss. But we are at time, and I'm definitely respectful of everyone's time. So I do want to make sure, I want to close because again, we're over time, but I do want to make sure that as we close, maybe I'll give a 30-second to different persons that still had their hand raised. If you want to jump in, you have literally, if 30 seconds, make it really, really quick, and then we'll just close out.
All right,
Cool.
thanks, Janice. Because I did want to just close it out. I agree with all of that. I'm gonna make it really, really quick. I think that this is historic, as I mentioned earlier. I think that operating on a premise of fear for us is not the way to follow. I think the fact that this woman comes from HBC, and the fact that that's encouraging, and there's a sense of pride and encouragement for others to seek out and seek this type of office are there. And I think that it's very important for us to be part of this historic momentum right now. As far as infant mortalities, I'm jumping over the place of a physician. In the Black community, the reason that that impacts us so much is because we don't have the right number of physicians in our communities or insurances to care for ourselves. So prenatal wise, we're getting it a lot later in the game. And that contributes to a lot of infant mortality. As far as incarceration, we can change that dynamic. You know, if we open up these businesses like Raynard was referring to, I'm a business owner as well, and a new author. You know, I think that it's important that we put this out into the community, and then let's see what we can reap and sow from all of that. So I'll go ahead and yield, Denise. Thank you.
Yeah, and I definitely wanted to make sure Dr. Fuller, you wanted to jump in. Okay.
Yes, thank you. 10 seconds, 30 seconds. As a physician and as a psychiatrist, and also as an apostle of the gospel of Jesus Christ, I just want to say, number one, and someone who's worked in the prison system, both county as well as state, I do concur with Dr. John 100% with respect to the percentage versus the actual number. I'm from Appalachia, so therefore that's significant and substantial with respect to that rate. Number two is the thing that I wanted to share is that spiritually, 10 seconds or less is that, yes, we do have a covenant with God. Yes, he does look at that. But in addition to that, is that he also looks at us when we are gossiping, when we hate, when we dislike, when we talk about people, and when we judge people. So therefore, we have to look at everything with respect to the discernment and go back to what the principles of God are. And then the last thing I wanted to say is the disparity that exists, especially with underrepresented populations. That is a concern. So we have to look at all of these dynamics when we vote. Yes, we should vote with our heads, with the facts, as well as I believe that we should vote with people who would represent who we are and our own opinions. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. I guess, so is all minds clear, I hope?
Can I chime in?
May I?
Sure. Yeah, go ahead, Derek.
Yes, hi. I just want to dumb this down just for a second and just simply say, I'm rocking with who's rocking with me. And when I say that, I'm supporting my people. We all know, common sense tells us, I think our children would tell us that Trump is not rocking with us. So we need to take that into account. I mean, I hear all the conversations and I appreciate everyone's thoughts, but it's really, I think sometimes we make things more complicated than what they have to be. Trump has made it known what he supports. Stephen Miller, who was part of his administration, has made it known. They just had a rally the other night where they talked about people of color, Puerto Rico. That's not funny. That's not a joke. We are all people of color. And at the end of the day, the brother talked about the lesser of two evils. I think we all know which candidate that would apply to. So that's all I wanted to say. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Dr.
Thank you. Yes.
If I may, Jan, may I?
Sure. Yeah.
Sure. Thank you. I didn't know I was coming to a Kamala Harris rally, for one, but I want to say this. I will say this, you know, Malcolm himself said not to be hoodwinked or bamboozled. And I think that same-sex marriages stops us from reproducing, massive corporations stops us from reproducing, and also abortion stops us from reproducing. The Bible tells us to go ye and multiply. So if we want to turn around and allow ourselves to find endorse same-sex marriages, don't expect for our legacy to go on through our children, because two men can't reproduce. If you lock our brothers up in jail, they can't reproduce. If we take the time out to abort, imagine if Kamala Harris would be aborted. She wouldn't be here today. So somebody needs to speak for that child, you know, and I want to be the voice for that child, which is a soul that was given from God, not man. And it took a man and a woman. So men feel abortion just as much as women do.
All right.
I was going to make one last comment when it comes to that. If we're going to stand on that,
Raynard, you sound very muffled.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. If we're going to stand on that with abortion as the thing that we're looking for when it comes to our vote, we also have to look at, okay, if we're going to take away abortion, and those same people have to make sure the infrastructure is in place to take care of those children who don't have those resources and parents aren't in those resources, they want to take away abortion as well as take away those resources. And we all know who's going to be the greatest impact, who that is going to greatly impact, which is going to be Black people. That's all I wanted to say about that part.
Thank you. And I wanted to acknowledge Larry Lott as well on the call. Thank you, Larry, as it relates to there was going to be a show for your podcast tonight as well. So if you wanted to just say a little something.
Yes.
Real quick.
Yes, how's everyone doing tonight, this evening? I feel like the brother Dantzler, matter of fact, I respect everybody's views and opinion. And I feel more aligned. I'm actually on the fence. I'm an independent and I'm on the fence, but I feel more aligned with being with brother Dantzler, I believe it is. My thing is, when you talk about abortion, to me, we talking about us, because don't nobody abort their children as much as we do, for one. Now, I understand about women's rights. I get that. I understand that. As far as mass incarceration, I've been through that. I was in the feds for like 19 years, 19 and a half years to be exact. And I'm sitting up here and I'm listening to everyone, and I respect everybody's opinion, just like they should respect mine, And it seems like more people's minds are closed as opposed to being open to really see what's really going on. I just can't endorse someone. I'm not saying who I'm endorsing, but I find it difficult to look in the mirror with me endorsing somebody that just now recently just started acknowledging me. You know what I mean? And so it's a difficult conversation for me as well. And like I say, it's I think that more people should respect other people's views and not try to sway nobody, because you only have one vote. You know what I mean? So you can just give me the facts and I can go in the booth and make my own choice, So
Right.
Thank you. And I appreciate being on the panel, and I appreciate everyone. And brother Dantzler, I appreciate you and your comments as well. Thank you.
Yeah. And Larry, you definitely said it, the facts. So you want to make sure you had the facts, and Chris
And
wanted to say something.
and I also say
Know
vote
the
to your
facts.
interest.
Go ahead.
Vote to your interest.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah.
like the brother say, I got a daughter, and it don't sit well with me for Tampax to be in the bathrooms, and so.
I get you, Larry.
Thank you.
We've been on the call for over an hour, so I appreciate you at the end. But we're gonna be mindful. One last thing. Go ahead, Chris.
Hello, everyone. I definitely appreciate being a part of this panel this evening, or just actually just being on this call this evening. And so I really appreciate everybody's views, and just knowing that everyone is trying to participate and vote. This year, I have the pleasure of taking my youngest daughter to the polls this year. This is going to be her first time being able to vote, but I really felt compelled. This summer she was home with me, and she was really just really all into knowing what was going on with Vice President Harris as well as Donald Trump. And so she brought to my attention, did you read Project 2025? And so when we talk about abortion, and I know this, it's a very, very touchy subject. I'm not really for abortion or really against it, but I do feel like a woman does have a right, to do what she needs to do with her own body, especially when it comes to health concerns and incest and things of those sorts. I don't think we should have the right to interfere with that. And so it's some views that, Vice President Harris has that I might not agree with, but it's a lot of views that I don't agree with Donald Trump, as well. And so when we look at the best of both evils, and I'm not saying that either one of them are really evil, but I want to lean more toward one candidate that has, more views that I support. And so I feel like everybody has the right to their own opinion. This is not, and I heard you say if this was Kamala Harris rally, but not really. It's just right or wrong. And so that's the way I see it. I really appreciate Dr. Jan, which is my sister as well, taking out the opportunity to give us all a chance to speak about this. You guys have a great evening and everybody vote.
All right. Looks like that's all, folks. Until we meet again. Maybe after election. I've been asked that we do another Real Men Talk again. So we'll maybe look forward to coming back together. And again, thank everyone for being a part. Enjoy your evening. And yeah, get to those polls. Get your souls to the polls.
Yep, we definitely have
Thank
to
you,
have another
guys.
talk.
Yeah.
Definitely have
Thanks so much.
another talk because there's more important things that are coming up. This is just the beginning, and you know, it's good that we came together for this discussion. Right or wrong, opinion, no opinion. You know, really coming together because you know, divide and conquer seems to have been pretty much the rallying point for the last I don't know how many years since Obama was in office. Divide and conquer. Divide us, they can conquer us. But we don't need to be conquered because we're better than that, and we're better than anyone that thinks that they are better than we are. So remember, this is just the beginning. Let's keep it going.
All right.
All right, Brother Dazzler. I wish I'd have got your name right. I know I messed it up, but appreciate you. You were standing, brother. All right.
Appreciate you, Lord. Now, I got to go over here and cook dinner. So my wife, like, you got to get in that kitchen and cook. So
don't make it happen.
I love you, sisters. You got to be blessed. All right.
Take care, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, sister. Thank you, brothers. Thank you, husband. And thanks everybody else. Keep an open mind.
Right.
Hey,
Let's
good
not
night.
go back.
Yes.
I don't hear you, doctor, if you're trying to speak this way.
Who is M. Martins?
Not sure.
Okay. All right. Sorry about that, you guys.
Okay.
So
Where do Raynard go, Andre?
they can't hear us. I'll put it in here. That's not.
So it's just four left now.
That's cool. Where I'm at.
Okay, my cousin Brenda is where I'm wondering who is this?
Hey, so that's all kind of because I couldn't really hear myself. That's all kind of crunchy.